I know, boys. Yeah! Good on you, Thomas Burgess! Good on you, Tommy! South Sydney! Yes! Yes! Go! Yes! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! Go! Go! Yes! 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 Go! Yeah! Yeah! Good on you, Joy! Let's go, boys! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! Go! Go! Yes! Yes! Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. My name is Cody, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hope you guys are doing very well on this fine Tuesday afternoon. In today's video, I'm here to give you my Round 3 2025 NRL tips. Last week was a very good round for tipping last week. A lot of people only got like half of it, or just a little bit under half. Unfortunately, was a shocking round last week, full of upsets. Another week of flogging as well, which we'll get into as well very shortly. But quite a few surprising wins last week as well. For me last week, I managed to get 5 out of 8 correct, so not too bad, but we'll get to that very shortly. We'll go over and see which team I got correct and all that jazz. Anyways, guys, if you guys are new around here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here, and comment down below what your tips are going to be for round 3 of the 2025 NRL season. So far, I've got 11 out of a possible 16 games, which is not too bad. I'm starting way better than I did last year, which was like only 7 out of 16 start off last year. But not too bad to start the year so far. But anyways, let's get into the round 3 tips. And oh boy, some of these games for this week for sure are either going to be 50-50, because there's at least 3 games that could go either way this week. But anyways, without further ado, we'll get into what games I got correct last week as well and got wrong. So going over last week's tip, I got the Knights game correct, but I tipped 1 to 12, not 13 plus. Warriors, well, I got mainly wrong. Warriors put 13 plus on them, which was very impressive. And the other Friday night game, the most shocking one of last week's games, Roosters beating the Panthers by 6. No one gave give the Roosters credit. No one gave them a chance, and they were like $9 to $10 to win. I think that's one of the few times that the outside team, or not the favourites, that won by $10 or more. That is outstanding. And Penrith, we'll get to them when we get to the first game. Now, Rabbits Dragons almost ended in disaster, but a comeback and a 1-point field goal from Jamie Humphries sealed the win for us. So I got that one correct. Sharks flogging the Cowboys. I picked 1 to 12, but they went 13 plus. And the other game I got wrong, Broncos, they lost to the Raiders by 10. Give Raiders credit. They played outstanding, but I think Broncos were just giving them a bit easier there. Tigers flogging Parramatta. I believe I went 1 to 12, and I didn't expect this outcome. And for the Titans' first game, they did all right, but I tipped the Dogs to win 13. I think it was 13 plus. I tipped them, but they still got win. So 5 out of 8, not too bad. All right, now we go over the current ladder as well. So after having their first bye here, Melbourne still remain in first place. Raiders, Bulldogs, Knights and Rabbitohs went up to between 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Raiders in 2nd. They were in 4th last week. Bulldogs went up by 2 spots from 5th. The Knights went up from 7th to 4th. And Rabbitohs went up from 8th to 5th place. And they're the only 5 teams remaining undefeated so far this year. Broncos lost, so they go down to 6th from 2nd last week. And Tigers go up from 11th to 7th place. Impressive win over the Eels. And the final team around at the 8, current top 8, Sharks were in 12th last week. They move up to 8th place. So the top 8 now is Melbourne, Raiders, Bulldogs, Knights, Rabbitohs, Broncos, West Tigers, and Sharks. Now we go through the rest of the bottom 9. Manly fall out of the 8 after they were in 3rd last week. Now they're in 9th. Panthers also fall out of the 8 from 6th to 10th. The Warriors move up from 14th to 11th. Titans had the bye in round 9, and because they lost, they go down to 12th. Roosters pulling off an upset win in a 10-game losing streak finally ended. They move up from 16th to 13th. Dragons moved down to 1 spot in the 14th. Dolphins moved down from 10th to 15th. Cowboys from 15th one spot below in 16th, and Parramatta remain in last place in 17th. So that is the top 8 at the moment. 5 teams still undefeated with either 1 or 2 wins. And then we've got a few teams with no wins yet. And also 5 teams still without a win as well between 12th and 17th. With the exception of the Roosters. Roosters are only in 13th below the Titans because of points differential. And the Dragons will have to bye for round 3. So they'll still be up to 5 teams still without a win after this round. But we'll see. Anyways, guys, with that out of the way, let's get into the first game. And it's a juicy one. And now the first game to kick off round 3 of the 2025 season. It's the first of 2 grand final rematches. We have last year's runner-up in first place, the Melbourne Storm, taking place against the 4-peat Premiers, who lost to the Roosters in an upset last week. The 4-peat Premiers, who are currently in 10th place, the Penrith Panthers, kicking off from Amy Park, kicking off at 8 p.m. on Thursday. Melbourne having their first bye last week, and the week before putting on an impressive win over the Eels, 56 points to 18. And for Panthers, last week, one of the most shocking upsets I have ever seen in recent history, and one of the worst games for Penrith to concede. They've conceded 38 points. Only one of the few times in the last couple of years I've seen them concede around 30 points or higher. And they conceded to Parramatta, I believe last year was 34 points they conceded, but they still won. To lose 32-38 against the Roosters. I mean, I don't know what they were going through their mind for that game, but geez Louise. Panthers were ordinary out there, but that was one of the worst games I have ever seen them in a long time. If this was against any other team, I'll let it slide, but gee whiz. And Roosters were paying big money for this too. So if you're lucky, one of those few fans or a diehard Roosters fan who got that tip, good on you. Now we'll go through the team changes for both of the teams. So Nelson Afona Solomona is among the reserves that he looks to return after his 5-game ban that cost him a grand final berth last year. So he might come into the game at last minute, which is very likely. And the only other change is William Broadbeck, who suffered a concussion, is replaced by Grant Anderson. And as for the Panthers, Dylan Edwards has succumbed to a groin injury, so Dane Laurie goes into the number 1 jersey, and Brad Snyder joins the bench. Isaiah Popoli also joins the bench in his return from a hip injury. Matt Heisen goes to the reserve list. Blaze Talangi is the new 18th man. Why isn't Jack Cole dropped? I would put Isaiah. Not Isaiah. I put in Blaze Talangi over Jack Cole. Jack Cole was so ordinary last week. But they're both the team changes for both teams. And a few stats here. Storm have won 8 of the 9 games played at Amy Park against the Panthers. Panthers have only won it once. Brighton scored 9 tries in 12 games against the Melbourne. Xavier Coates has scored 31 tries in 28 games at Amy Park. And Nathan Cleary requires 14 more points to break the club's point scoring record. And Jerome Hughes make his 150th NRL, his 150th appearance for the Storm. So big stakes here, and it's also Melbourne's revenge this time as they look to win the game after they lost in the grand final last year. Now, these two have played 47 games against each other since 1998, with Melbourne winning 31 and the Panthers winning 16. However, Panthers have had the more better campaign than than the Storm in recent times. In the past 10 games between the two, Penrith have won 6 of the last 10 games. However, Melbourne have won 3 of the last 5 have won 4 of the last 6 games against each other. The only time, Penrith have won 4 of the last 6, my apologies. And both times Melbourne won was in the regular season games last year, 8 points to nil to start off last year. And then on the 15th of August, Melbourne just won 24-22 at Bluebet Stadium. And Panthers only win at Amy Park since they're playing there in 2010, was back in 2018, where they won 22-16, and I believe that was in the last round as well. And Penrith have actually won the last... Penrith have had won a game in the last few years in Melbourne, but they played at Marvel Stadium in 2023, where Melbourne won, so Penrith won 34-16. So at least Melbourne have won in Melbourne recently, but not at Amy Park as 2018. For this game, who am I going to tip? This one could really go either way. I think Penrith will be up for this one as well, again, and Melbourne are looking to get their revenge. But for this game, I'm going to go Melbourne to get their revenge against the Panthers. Melbourne to win 1-12. I'm going to go Melbourne to win by 8. Melbourne to put on scoreline to go 30 points to 22. Try scorers, because it's his 150 appearance. For a first try scorer, we're going to go Jerome Hughes. And anytime try scorers, we'll go Dane Laurie from the Panthers. And for the Storm, we're going to go Elise Katoa to score for the Storm. So Melbourne to win 1-12. Alright, now we move on to our Friday night games. The first one kicking off at 6 p.m. here in New South Wales, 5 p.m. Queensland time, and 8 p.m. New Zealand time. We have the 11th place New Zealand Warriors going against the 13th place Sydney Roosters. The Warriors last week putting off an impressive win over the team that flogged the Cowboys, the Sea Eagles, 36 points to 16 in their first game at Mount Smart this year. As for the Roosters, as much as I hate them, put on a very good performance against the Panthers. Although they did let the Panthers concede 32, but nonetheless, probably one of the best Roosters games I've seen in a long time. 38 points to 32 over the reigning four-peat premiers and ending a 10-game losing streak against them all the way dating back to 2020. So good on the Roosters for putting on an impressive win over the four-peat premiers. That means it shows that Penrith are very vulnerable this year than more in recent years. But anyways, we won't worry about the Panthers till we get to them next week, eh? But anyways, let's go through the team list changes for both the teams. So for the Warriors, they pretty much have the same 17 as they did for last week's game. Roko Berry and Bunny Afua join a part of the extended squad, while Jacob Laban is 18th man. Roosters will have 3 big-ins. Prop Lindsay Collins returns from illness. Spencer Linney returns from suspension. And Victor Radley returns from nasty HIA back from round 1. Salia Forey moves to the bench, while Makahia Makatoa and Taylor Leselu go to reserves. And Hugo Savala is 18th man. Focchetti heads to judiciary for tonight to see a downgrade for a careless high tackle. Should be unsuccessful, banned for 2 games. So there you go. So at least Roosters have got 3 of their big main players back for this game as well, despite their heavy injury side at the moment. Alright, now the head-to-head between the two, there have been 47 games between each other since 1995. The Roosters winning 24 and the Warriors winning 22 with 1 draw thrown in there. In the past 10 games between each other, Roosters have won 8 of the last 10 games between each other, including winning the last 8 games against each other. Warriors' last win against the Roosters was back in 2018, and the Warriors' last win versus the Roosters at Mount Smart was back in 2017. So since then, Warriors have lost the last 2 games back at Mount Smart Stadium versus the Roosters, but granted, obviously, that some of them weren't played because of during the COVID part for a couple of years. Another stat here as well, that Roosters have won 4 of their last 6 games against the Warriors played at Mount Smart Stadium, which includes winning the last 2 games as well, which was 2023 and 2019. Another few stats here as well. Warriors have only won 2 of their past 7 Friday night games. Dominic Young has scored 21 tries in his last 20 games. And Chockle Nickel Clockstar will play his 50th game for the Warriors. Congratulations to CNK. He has been one of the best players for the Warriors in the past couple of years after he was last at the Raiders. So congratulations to CNK for playing his 50th game at the Warriors. And another few things here, like Warriors have not beaten the Roosters since 2017 Mount Smart, and Roosters won 8 of the last 10 against the Warriors. For this game, this one is quite tough, even though you may think who'll tip you based on last week, but I'm going to back the Warriors here. I know Roosters could get this one as well, but I reckon that being after the impressive win over the Manly last week, I reckon the Warriors can get the job done here. Warriors to win by 4 points, 1-12 though. Scoreline, we're going to go 20 points to 16, so a bit of a mid to low scoring game. And for first try scorer, we're going to go with the Roosters first. We're going to go Dom Young to score first. And anytime try scorers, we will go Daniel Tupou. And from the Warriors, we're going to go Tane Tuapiki to score for the Warriors. So Warriors to this one, just 1-12 by 4. And on to our main event for the Friday night fixtures. We have our first Queensland Derby of the year and the biggest Queensland rivalry in the NRL right now. Coming up at Suncorp Stadium, we have the 6th place Brisbane Broncos playing against the 16th place North Queensland Cowboys. Broncos last week, after impressive win in round 1 against the Roosters, conceded 32 points to lose by 10 against the Raiders down at Nation's capital on Saturday night rather. And as for the Cowboys, they start the season 0-2, losing to the Sharks again, this time 36 points to 12 in sweltering conditions up there. So Cowboys last year started the year 3-0 last season. Now they started 0-2. They lose this one, they'll start 0-3, and it's not looking good for them. And my goodness, for them to win this week, they are paying $5.80 to win. That is something. So if you want to go on the Cowboys this week, this is your chance. All right, now we'll go through the team list for both teams. Katoni Staggs is listed amongst the reserves as he closes in on the return from a quad injury and has kept him out for 2 games. Shira Barsky would be the man most likely to make way for Staggs. So pretty much Maguire has named the same name 17 that went down to Canberra. And for the Cowboys, Jason Tomalolo finally returns at prop after a Lichtenfrink injury. Jamarai Nanai has also been Nanai is back after playing Queensland Cup last week after being dropped from last week's game. Jake Clifford, my apologies, returns in the number 7 jersey as Thomas Duffy is back in the reserves. Braden Burns has suffered a hamstring injury, which brings in Robert Derby onto the wing for his first game since mid-2023. Sam McIntyre will come from the bench after starting last week, while Kyle Lawton and Harrison Edwards make the way. So quite a few changes there for the Cowboys, but hopefully they'll play better this week against when they play against their arch rivals. Now, in the head-to-head between these two since 1995, there have been 62 games between each other. Broncos winning 40, Cowboys winning 20, and there were 2 draws thrown in there as well. Also, in the past 10 games between each other, Brisbane have won 6 of the last 10 games against the Cowboys, including winning the last 4 games between each other. Cowboys' last win against the Broncos was back in 2022, where they won 40 points to 26. And Broncos have also won 3 of the last 5 games facing the Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium as well. With the Cowboys' last win at Suncorp back in 2022 as well, the first game between each other, where they won 38 points to 12 against the Broncos. And also, Cowboys have conceded 78 points in their opening 2 games, so that shows you how much they are much different compared to after they started last year. Jesse Arthurs has also scored 5 tries in his past 3 games. And Adam Reynolds requires 11 more points to move to third place on the all-time NRL point scorers list as well. So both for tries and for goals. If he does get it, congratulations to Adam Reynolds. Probably won't be this round, but probably within the next 2 games he will definitely get it. But for this game, it's obviously who I'm gonna tip. Broncos to win 13 plus. I honestly think Cowboys will play better, but I think Brisbane will bounce back after what their defense was like last week. So I'll back Broncos to win 13 plus to win by 16 points. Score, let's go 38-22. So a bit of high scoring, but I know it's a bit high for Broncos, but I reckon they'll get that. And for try scorers, first try scorer, I'm gonna go first try scorer. We're gonna go Patrick Carrigan to score first, I reckon. And for anytime try scorers, we'll go Cobbo. And for Cowboys, we'll go Ruben Cotter to score for the Cowboys anytime. So Broncos to win 13 plus. Now we move on to Super Saturday, the first of 3 games kicking off at 3 p.m. from Shark Stadium in the Shire. We have the 8th place Cronulla Sharks taking on my boys and the unbeaten 2-0 still currently, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who we are currently in 5th place. A different outlook than what we started with last year. Sharks versus Rabbitohs at 3 p.m. at Shark Stadium. Last week, the Sharks putting on a dominating win over the Cowboys, winning 36 points to 12 up there at North Queensland Country Bank Stadium. And as for my boys, what a win last week, and what a win to experience. Coming back down for 12 points to 24-12. We went on the win. 1 point, Jamie Humphrey's field goal. Arguably one of my best games I have ever attended, and one of the best away trips as well. During my time when I've gone to the games, whether doing vlogs or just watching the games, one of the best games I have ever been to in my life. And true story, I almost passed out after we won that game, because I didn't think for sure we would come back and win that after we were down 24-12. Yes, still possible to get 2 tries within 30 minutes, but after how we played and 4 to 5 forward passes as well, I was so shocked about that. I didn't think we deserved to win, but a win to win, start 2-0, the best. We are looking to go 3-0 if we do. That's our best start since 2019 when we went 3-0. But anyways, go through the team list for both of them. If you guys haven't checked out my vlog from last week's game against the Dragons, make sure you guys go check it out after this video. Anyways, for the Sharks, they have gone with the same 17 that took care of business. Tuku Hua Tupuha has retained his place on the bench, with fellow front rower Tommy Hazelton still troubled by back soreness. Her brothers Hopea and Niwapuru are part of the extended squad, with Morati Horati, while Billy Burns is the 18th man. And then as for us, we've got a few changes here. Jack Whiten is back from suspension. Fletcher Myers goes to the wing, and Bentley Hape, who had a very good game last week, drops out. Michaeli Ravalava, who signed with us from last week, is 18th man. I think he'll come into the game to replace Fletcher Myers, most likely. And Tallis Duncan, unfortunately, suffered an injury, but he has been named. But I think he's actually not going to play this game at this stage. If that's the case, I see probably Liam LeBlanc taking his place, or Jacob Host coming from outside the reserves. He suffered a hip injury, but was originally to be a hamstring, but at least it's it. So if he doesn't play this game, he will be back either next week or the week after. And the worst one of all, Lockie Harbner. 2-game suspension for a crush tackle on Clint Gutherson. That was a bullshit call. I think he should have challenged it, but it is what it is. So he's gone for 2 games. He'll be back for the game against the Roosters in 2 weeks. Not happy about that, but we'll see how we go for this game as well. Now, the head-to-head between the two, there have been 96 games between the Sharks and the Rabbitohs, all the way back since 1967, of course. Sharks have won 50 games, Rabbitohs 43, and 3 draws thrown in there. In the past 10 games between each other, it's been 5 games apiece. However, the Sharks have won the last 3 games against us, and our last win at Shark Park against them was back in 2023, where we won in the first round of the season, 27 points to 18. And just a few more stats here as well. Sam Stonestreet has scored 8 tries in the past 5 games. We have only won 1 game out of 6. One out of the past 6 against the Sharks, and that was 2023, obviously. Ronaldo Molontello has scored 37 tries in 33 games at Shark Stadium. We are looking to aim for a 3-0 start for the first time since 2019. And Nico Hines, very impressive with this one. 26 of 27 attempts at a goal at Shark Stadium. Very impressive. But this is going to be a tough game for us, no doubt. Now, I'm going to back us no matter what. I think we'll win 1-12 by... I'm going to go 6 points. Hopefully, we can win by more than 1 or 2 this time. We're going to go 18... No, go 18-12 scoreline. But I don't think we'll win. I think the Sharks will win this one, but we'll give them a game. But I hope we win. I hope we can win. Back my team no matter what. But if we do win, Rabbitohs to win by 6, 18-12 scoreline. First try scorer in his 50th game for the NRL, we're going to go Isaiah Tass. And anytime try scorers, we're going to go Britton Nakora. He scored last week against the Cowboys. And anytime for the Rabbitohs, we're going to go Campbell Graham to score. So Campbell Graham to get his first try for the first time in over a year. So come on, Rabbitohs. Let's show up the Shark Park and win this game. Rabbitohs to win 1-12. And of course, I will be there for the game as well. So stay tuned for the vlog. Rabbitohs to win 1-12. Alright, now we move on to our second game for Super Saturday. The next game kicking off at 5:30 p.m. New South Wales time, 4:30 p.m. Queensland time. From KO Stadium in Redcliffe, we have the 15th place Dolphins going on against the current team, the top 8 who didn't expect it to make it this far. 7th place West Tigers. Last week the Dolphins went down to Newcastle and lost to the Knights 26 points to 12. And as for the Tigers, putting on a dominating and fantastic win and a great defensive game against the Parramatta Eels. 32-6 last Sunday afternoon in... My goodness, we'll get to Para very shortly. But Tigers putting on a very impressive display against them at Combank last week. Very good performance. Now I'll go through the team list for both of them. Now, with both of them, Dolphins have named the same 17 that went down to Newcastle. Jack Bostock and Kuiyaki Fuyaki, knee and concussion respectively, both among the reserves and likely to come to the side. Kenny Bromwich is also on the reserves list, and Sean O'Sullivan is the 18th man. For the Tigers, they have been named 17, but however, Jermaine Buller has been named despite he might have suffered a foot injury in last week's game. Heath Mason is part of the extended squad and be called up should Buller not be able to play this week. But other than that, the Tigers have named the same squad that got the job done last week. So both teams are pretty much the same, but could be a couple of late changes for both sides. Now, these two have only played each other 3 times since the Dolphins have joined back in 2023. This will be their first game against each other at KO Stadium as well. Dolphins have won the last 2, and both been at Suncorp, as the Tigers hosted them for Magic Round last year as well. And also the Tigers won their first ever game against the Dolphins in 2023, 24-23, down at Combank 2 years ago. So this will be this should definitely be a good game. This game could either be a flip of a coin game as well. And you may say go with the Tigers for this one, but it's only one game that's really impressed, and they played against a poor Parramatta opposition who have already done bad back in round 1 as well. So we'll have to see what happens. And also, Dolphins have won 4 of their 6 games in Redcliffe. Tigers have lost the last 5 games at Queensland venues. The Hammer has scored 6 tries in 3 games at Redcliffe. Gerald Skelton has scored 6 tries in his last 8 appearances. And Dolphins are aiming to avoid 0-3 for their ever first 0-3 start in their history. So, got a few stakes up for grabs for this game. But for this game, being back in Queensland, now round 1 was meant to be Dolphins' first home ground. Unfortunately, the game went down to Sydney and was a Rabbits' home game. I've already explained that already. If you guys didn't know what happened, just a weather system cyclone happened a couple of weeks ago. But this is the Dolphins' return, so I'm going to go to Dolphins for this one. Only just. Now Tigers could win this one as well. Just not sure how this one will go. But I reckon Dolphins being back in Queensland, I reckon they will go this one. Win by 4 points. Scoreline 18-14. So a bit of a close game. But like I said, this game could go either way. But Dolphins to win 1-12 by 4. Try scorers. First try scorer, we'll go Herbie Farmworth. And anytime try scorers, we're going to go Alex Seyfarth from the Tigers. And from the Dolphins, we will go Jermaine Asako to score. So this game flip for coin, but I reckon Dolphins will get there in the end and get their first win on the drop, on the chop. So Dolphins to win 1-12. Alright, now we move on to our final Saturday game for round 3. And taking up to the Gold Coast for the first time this year. Kicking off at 7:35 p.m. out New South Wales time, 6:30 p.m. Queensland time. We have the 12th place Gold Coast Titans against the undefeated 4th place Newcastle Knights. Last week, the Titans played their first game of the season, and while they did concede 40 points, I reckon they played alright against a bit of a hostile area in Belmore. They lost to the Bulldogs 40 points to 24 against the Dogs. And as for the Knights, they remain undefeated after putting on an impressive win over the Dolphins, winning 26 points to 12 in front of their home faithful last Thursday night. Now, this game, I don't reckon it's not really going to be a good game between each other, but I could be wrong about this one, but we'll just have to see how it goes. Now, for the team list for both teams, Cam Pereira has suffered a hamstring injury, so Tony Francis comes onto the wing in for him for his third NRL game. Isaac Falasamalawi has been added to the bench in place of Jalen Dollett, who suffered a calf injury. And for the Knights, Leo Thompson suffered a knee injury, and Kai Pearce-Paul has been suspended. Brody Jones comes into the front row, and Adam Elliott starts at lock. The new man on the bench is Thomas Cant. Now I'll go through the head-to-head between the two. There have been 30 games between the Titans and Knights, with the Knights winning 17 and the Titans winning 13. So pretty close against each other. However, this is where it gets the difference. Now Titans have won. Knights have won 6 of the last 10 against the Titans, winning 5 of the last 6 games and winning the last 3 games against them as well. Titans' last win against Newcastle was back in 2022, where they won 36 points to 26. Now, this seems to be a trend between each other since 2016, at least. Whoever is the home team, they usually win. So if it's played at McDonald Jones, the Knights win. If it played at Seabus, Titans win. Or it finally got broken last year, technically, but Titans were the home team against the Knights in Magic Round, and the Knights came back to win that one 28-24, bit controversial. Technically, they broke the streak, but this was a neutral venue for both teams. So technically, the trend still continues, but it was broken last year, technicality as well. And the Knights have not won at Seabus since 2015, where they won 20 points to 18 against the Titans. So they have lost. The Knights have lost the last 7 games playing at Seabus versus the Gold Coast Titans. And the same thing will go with the other way if this was played at McDonald Jones, which they will play against each other in just a few short weeks after this one as well. So that seems to be the trend going between each other. And a couple more stats here as well. Titans only won 4 of 11 games at Seabus last year. Knights have won the last 5 of their past 6 against the Titans. Jojo Fafita has scored 8 tries in his past 7 NRL games. The Knights are aiming for their 3 wins in a row to start the season since 2015. Well, I did not even know that. But in 2015, they started the season 3-0 or just little bit more. And they got the wooden spoon that year. That was crazy. We could see a repeat possibly, but we'll just have to see. For this game, this is another flip of a coin game, but if we're going based on the trend that the home team does win, then I think that's going to continue. So I'm actually going to back the Titans for this one. I know it's a bit risky, but I reckon Titans will get their first win of the season. Titans win by 8 points. Scoreline 26-18. For try scorers, first try scorer, let's go JJ Fafita to score. He loves to score in every game so far. And anytime try scorer is Dane Gagai to score for the Knights and Keona Kinney to score for the Titans. So Titans to win 1-12. Now we move on to the Sunday games now. The first game kicking off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon from Combank Stadium. we have the last place, 17th place, Parramatta Eels, against the third place and still unbeaten team of the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs from 4 o'clock at CommBank Stadium. Last week, Parramatta lost to the Tigers once again. This time, 32 points to 6. And they score within the last couple minutes just not to be held scoreless. That is crazy. Whatever the hell's going on with Parramatta this year, if they get flogged again, red pen, cross through them. Bulldogs on the hand though. They beat the Titans 40 points to 24, but they did let the Titans score 24 against them, so a bit of concern, but they're up 2-0, just like the Rabbitohs, so we'll see how the Dogs will go in this game against them. Now, team changes. There's a few changes coming here for both teams. Ronald Volkman has paid the price for Eels Port start of the season. He's replaced by Dean Hawkins, who used to play for us. Josh Odoi-Carr has served his suspension and is listed among the reserves, while Ryan Madison is 18th man. Bailey Simonson will make his return via the New South Wales Cup this weekend for his first game back from ACL injury suffered last season. As for the Bulldogs, Matt Burton and Fiami Kikau to knee injuries sees Bailey Hayward take over the 5'8", whilst Steely Tupapua starts in the back row. Hayward will start at 5'8" for the first time in his 23-game career. Kurt Moran and Daniel Saluka Fafita are new faces on the bench. So, no Burton, no kick out. See how the Dogs will go against the Parramatta Eels, who've been very poor to start the season. Now, the head-to-head between the two backs all the way to 1947, the second biggest rivalry in New South Wales, of course, behind the Rabbitohs and Roosters, of course. Bulldogs have played 156 games between each other. Bulldogs winning 79, Eels 72, and 5 draws thrown in there. However, the Eels have been the better team between each other recently. In the past 10 games between each other, Eels have won, shockingly, 8 of the last 10, and they have also won 10 of the last 14 games against the Bulldogs, dating back all the way to 2018. And also, the Bulldogs have not won at CommBank versing the Eels since 2019. And so the Bulldogs have lost 4 out of the last 5 games versing the Eels at CommBank Stadium. That only win against them come back the first year that CommBank was open in 2019, where they won 12 points to 6. But obviously, how the Tides have turned against each other for this year so far, I think this is going to be a one-sided game, to be honest, even despite with no Burton, no Kikau. And also another stat here: Bulldogs have won 2 of the last 16 games at CommBank Stadium. That is crazy. Eels have conceded 88 points to start the season. Horrible. Odoi-Carr has scored 8 tries his past 6 against the Bulldogs. And also, Toby Sexton will be making his 50th NRL appearance for the NRL. So, congratulations to Toby Sexton. So, for this game, it's going to be one-sided affair. Bulldogs to win 13 plus by 22 points. Bulldogs to win 36-14 against the Eels. First try scorer, we're going to go Blake Wilson. Anytime try scorers, we'll go Zach Lomax and Montoya Montoya. So Bulldogs to win 13 plus. And now we move on to our final game of round 3, kicking off at 6:15 p.m. from 4 Pines Park at Brookie. We have the 9th place Manly Sea Eagles taking place against the 2nd place and very impressive Canberra Raiders. Last week, Manly going down to the Warriors after an impressive win over the Cowboys, losing 36-16 at Mount Smart last week. And as for the Raiders, impressive win and a very good performance against the Broncos, winning 32-22 in their first home game at GIO Stadium this year. Very impressive win over the Broncos. Now for the team changes for both teams, Tom Trbojevic and Daly Cherry-Evans have been named, while Tua Kola returns after missing round 2 with a cork thigh. Sela Takiyaho knee injury is also back on deck. So Josh Aloi reverts to the bench, and Tofa Sipley is out. Tommy Talau is listed as 18th man. Raiders. Xavier Savage returns from his one-match suspension and takes over from Albert Hopewadi. Zach Osking is out with a hand injury. So that means Morgan Smithies and Trey Mooney moves into the bench. After a 2-try debut against the Broncos, Matthew Nicholson returns his place in the starting side. So Matthew Nicholson, very impressive debut last week. That was a great showing from him as well. So I think he deserves a starting spot, honestly. Now, the head-to-head between the two. There have been 65 games between each other, with Manly winning 40 and the Raiders winning 24, and there's one draw thrown in there as well. In the past 10 games between the two, Manly have won 7 of the last 10 games against each other. However, in the last 2 games played at 4 Pines Park, Raiders have won both of those occasions. The last one, 26-24, back in last year's season, and in also 2021, where Raiders won that 30 points to 16, and Manly's last win against the Raiders at 4 Pines Park back in 2019, when they won 24 points to 20. So Raiders have been up at 4 Pines Park and winning those last 2 games, which is very impressive. So, and I think that's going to be happening this week as well. And just a few more stats. Raiders, like I said, won their last 2 at 4 Pines Park. Tom Trbojevic has scored 15 tries in 12 games against the Raiders. Josh Papali'i will move to outright second on the club's all-time appearance list behind Jason Croker. And Jason Saab has scored a try in his last 5 games at 4 Pines Park. For this game, I'm going to go to Raiders. I know it will be tough to beat Manly at Brookie, but I think they still got to learn from last week's mistake against the Warriors, and there could be a few players like Turbo may not be fit to play and might pull out and say for Cherry, but I doubt it. But we'll see. But I'm going to go Raiders to win this one 1-12. Raiders to win by 6. Scoreline 24-18. And any first try scorer, we're going to go with Manly. We'll go Homalia Aloha Kaladu to score first. And anytime try scorers, Ruben Garrick. And we'll go KO Weeks to score for the Raiders. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to wrap up my Round 3 2025 NRL tips. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for you guys and you're around here, and comment down below what your tips are for each game this week as well. Good luck to your teams. Good luck to your tips. Hopefully you can do better than last week's disastrous round 2, filled with upsets and bit of flogs. But anyways, good luck to your teams this week, except for the Cronulla Sharks. And I will be there at I'll be there at Shark Stadium as well for the Saturday game. So be prepared for a vlog to come out on the Sunday. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one, and see you for Thursday night. We're going to be doing the grand final rematch for a watch along live stream. Anyways, see you all in the next one.